Hello and welcome back to some almost mediocre gameplay, and today I'm on the UDES 03, which is a tier 8 Swedish tank destroyer, and it is like one of my most played tanks on my account, and yet I kind of hate it. The reason why I hate it is because it's so one-dimensional. I kind of want to get involved into the battle, but this is pretty much all you can do. I'm here in a tier 10 matchup, so +2, and there's one light tank, and because our light tank is down in the south, I am very conscious of the fact that a light tank can just pop up right there next to me at those bushes, at that ridge to my left, and I would get spotted, and with only 1,000 hit points, you're not going to last very long, because there's some tanks that can do that in one hit, especially to this tank. It's got no armor at all against well, any of the caliber of guns that we're up against here. So I'm trying to do some spotting here, which is something you can do in this tank because it's got exceptional camo. I'm not really sure how good it is. My crew is not the best in this. I think I've got 2 crew skills. I don't have brothers in arms. I've got just camo and 1 other skill, not fully trained. So I'm using ventilation, binoculars and turbos, so I'm not completely immovable in the siege mode. But yeah, this is kind of largely uneventful. I'm going to go for some blind shots in on this light tank. Oh, not just yet. Now this tank does actually have very good accuracy, but it can still miss. I think it's 0.25 base, so in the siege mode it's like 0.22 or something with this setup that I've got right now. Of course, I'm not using food because I'm too free to play. I don't really feel like losing credits when I play, but I think one of these did actually hit, but it was only a tracking shot. I did not manage to damage the light tank, unfortunately, but I give it a few attempts, and yeah, sooner or later I'm going to be aware that absolutely nothing is going to happen here. I take a look at the hill, because we've lost the hill now, and what can I do to help? Because I mean, the score right now is pretty even, but if you look at the map, we are pretty much all in this one corner, which is not ever gonna do well. You're not really gonna do well in a matchup like this, especially when, well, we've still got our light tank alive for now, but that's not gonna last very much longer. I was thinking of setting up here because you can actually get some pretty nice cross shots up onto that hill, and they wouldn't be able to spot me, but because that heavy is moving up, I need to get out now while I still can, because as soon as I get spotted, I'm dead. So I am just going to do the classic UDES 03 gameplay tactic, which is move to the back of the map, to the red line, and wait for someone else to spot. Now, this is the reason why I don't like this tank. And this video isn't just going to be me slagging off this tank, but this is all you can really do. And you're kind of reliant on other people perhaps winning the map for you, which is not really the kind of or the proactive gameplay that I myself am after. But there is something that you can actually do to win a map like this, and we're going to see it very shortly. We're going to sit here for a bit, like twiddling our thumbs, being like, oh, well, someone's got to do something. But if you look at the tanks that are here, I do kind of question why they are here. We've got 3 heavy tanks and a Batchat and a Scorpion, which, the Batchat actually could go ahead and spot. It doesn't have the worst camo in the world, and generally mediums can also spot very proficiently. But I was gonna go there, but then I see this tank moving down here, and I'm like, well, if I can get a shot in on that, that would be pretty good. But they're just gonna move behind that building, so it's 3-5. We are losing. I'm bottom tier. my shots aren't going to kill anyone. 390 alpha with like a 9-second reload. It's not all that spectacular, but just like that, look at that. Suddenly I'm spotting pretty much half the enemy team. And, you know, I'm pretty grateful for all of this spotting. And I haven't actually gone into the siege mode here because, well, I was thinking I might want to get away, but that's kind of a bad move because if I were to move a little bit, I would lose the camo. And that, like, right now my mouse, the right button is sometimes a little bit, it's a bit broken, shall I say. So it could just come loose right now and my tank would move, I'd lose my camo. Whereas if I was in my siege mode, well, you retain the camo if you just twiddle, turn around on the spot. Also keeping your binos activated. But there we go. We got, what was it, 5k spotting there. Pretty nice. These guys probably don't even know that they're still spotted, but they are. And this is the kind of thing that you can do in pretty much any tank. Well, not a heavy tank, perhaps, like you would be spotted here, but if you've got decent camo in a medium, you can come here. You do not have to shoot to win a game for your team. That said, we are not winning this game right now. We are 6 to 8 down, and this Char here is a real nuisance because no doubt he is the main culprit for who is actually going to spot my heavy tanks. They've got no camo, despite there being heavy trees here in the way, providing some decent camo. That Char, especially if they're using like a CVS, Commander's Vision system, then which they might be, or even if they've just got coated optics and very good view range, they will be able to spot these heavies. So I am thinking about maybe shooting them, but if I was to shoot now, I would be spotted, and I'm the only one that's actually keeping our hopes alive here for this map. Of course, down in the south, we've got a CC1 that is holding it down. Of course, they've still got their light tank, which I'm kind of wondering, like, well, where the hell is that? Yeah, at some point, we will have to do something. Now, we see this heavy tank is making their way down, which is a nuisance, because now I definitely wouldn't be able to shoot that Char if they were to pop up right now. The K2, which is that tank up on the hill, which is a new tank that was available in the auction event of last week for, I think it was like 8,000 gold or something, which I don't have that. It has awful gun handling, and it's got 390 alpha and a really bad reload, so I would at most take one shot from that, which I would be able to survive if I were to take this Char on. The only issue is that I wouldn't be able to take another shot from a tank that has 750 alpha, which is there. And of course there is also the artillery, which we will see. They're gonna figure out where I am just by virtue of this tree that I have knocked down here. But we've managed to pull it back. It's 9 to 10. And it's looking a little bit more promising here. And how much spotting are we at? We are almost at 8,000. 7.7 to be exact. Two significant figures. And we've kind of run out of guns behind us. We've only got 2 tanks and then the SPG. But, oh dear. It's getting a bit dicey here. I'm thinking like, oh, at some point you're going to have to shoot. There is always a time to shoot and a time to spot, and sooner or later you will have to shoot. And right now I think we're going to go and head and take out that Char, because we just saw the 60 TP take a shot, so they're not going to be able to fire at me. So it's only the K2. They've got really bad gun depression. I think it's 6 degrees maybe, so they'll have a hard time, especially with their gun handling. We're going to move here. We're going to take out that tree, move it, or knock it down just as the artillery shell comes in, so they don't necessarily know if I'm there. I might not have knocked it down. It might have been the artillery shell. And we will know that they are still going to try and fire at where I was last spotted, because we see another shell land there momentarily. So the disguise and the deception worked well here. But now it's pretty much going to come down to me. Am I the one that's going to take out this K2? But it's got really bad view range also. We can, I think it's 350 meters base, but it's got terrific armor. Unless you manage to hit the lower plate. This tank has 288 millimeters of standard penetration, so it will have no problems taking this tank out if given the opportunity. In fact, I could almost give it a go at the side of its turret right there. But also, if you come up against this tank, this K2, and you don't know how to penetrate it, it's very simple. If you've got a gun that is 91 millimeters or higher in caliber, you can just shoot its forehead. It's got 30 millimeters of armor there, and you'll just overmatch it, which means that you will penetrate it every single time. And pretty much every tank at, particularly every heavy tank at tier 7 and above, is probably gonna have no problems with that. But there we go, we took it down. I moved behind the bush so I wouldn't be spotted, and I wasn't. And just like that, we've managed to take pretty much all of these tanks down. So there's only the 60 TP, but given that I've got the HP, or there's no way he's going to kill me in one shot unless he were to load HE. But I just saw him whiff a shot there as I went past. So that means I've got plenty of time to just zoom in on his lower plate and take him out, and the IS-4 helps out as well. So we know where everyone is now, I believe. They're all down in the south. I did press Alt on my map at the time when I was playing, and I knew that the TD is down in the south. And the SPG, well, I was just moving to make sure that I wouldn't get hit by it, because that would really suck. And now we're just going to go and celebrate with our comrades down in the south. Although I must say that there's not really any more excitement here in this game. Well, maybe not. And so we finish with the spotting is going to be at 8,794, which is enough to deal with LT15 for the T55A, and I'm not sure if it's enough for the object to the one after. Is it the 260 or 279E? I'm not actually sure. But obviously, with it being a TD, you have the much more difficult task of actually doing your job and doing damage, which is the one I've got at the top of my screen right there, TD15. But I'm not even going to turn around and face that TD over there, because I would never get a shot in. Because one of the things that I dislike about this tank is that it takes so long to actually get in position to actually deal damage. You've got to stop, you've got to go into siege mode, and whether or not, if you're spotting for yourself, you know, you've got to go into the bush, activate binos, you see the tank, you've got to move backwards and then fire and then move forwards, and it's just quite clunky. But there you go, we get an extra kill there with the 2 shots in to the SPG, and we get a look at our scoreboard right here. So yes, that was an ace tanker, and it was a pretty decent chunk of XP, as you can see there. I think you don't really need that much XP to get an ace tanker in this tank. Probably because everyone snipes from the back without spotting for themselves. But we did actually still manage to get 4 kills, 1,243 damage, pretty much all at the end there, and a pretty juicy amount of spotting. So anyway, I would say that was almost mediocre, and that was probably my best game in this tank in regards to overall spotting and damage. Thank you very much for watching. If I do another one, it'll be on this channel. So anyway, see ya.